All right, so I usually like to start all my warm-ups or even decompressions right after the workout with this move here. It's kind of like a little mini flow, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it really starts with 3 yoga moves, 3 of the most basic moves that almost anybody could do. So it's going to be child's pose, up dog, or mermaid pose, cobra, whatever you want to call it. And the third being down dog, which I'm sure you've heard of. So I really just flow through the 3 movements, mainly because I like to get some spinal movement in. We always want to prioritize the spine, whether, like I said, you're waking up first thing in the morning and you want to get some movement in. You've been sitting down for a long time at work. If you have, the luxury to be able to just kind of bust out and do some stretching, or beginning and post workout. I used to always like to do this, especially if I'm short on time and I can't really stretch out everything. I like to at least get a little bit of spinal decompression in. So we'll start off with the child's pose. Now I always sit the hips on top of my heels here, and I like to stretch out really, really long here. Now we call it a flow because you're switching from one position to the next one as gracefully as you can. So you'll notice as I start to transition into the up dog here, I'm still keeping my back nice and rounded because I'm trying to kind of get as much movement on that spine in as I can. I'm sinking the hips and maintain this tall position here with my chest. Now, a lot of times in yoga, you'll see that they lift up their thighs. It's not really necessary here. We're just really focused on the spine. Now, if you also notice, I keep my wrists in line with my elbows and my shoulders. Keep everything stacked up there, nice and tight. It's very, very important, especially when we go into like push-ups and planks and things of that nature, to keep those joints all aligned. So from here, make sure that you keep the shoulders up and active and not slouched here, right? Same thing with the elbows. Keep everything nice and active. Now from here, you could transition back into that child's pose, or this is why it's called a flow, because it's not really necessarily structured. You kind of go with it as you please, as you feel. So from here, I'm gonna pop up into a down dog. I'm getting my hips up high into the air. If you notice, I got my head all the way through my shoulders. I'm trying to get my feet or my heels flat if I can. I kind of pedal out my legs. Get a little bit of stretch there in the calves, show them some love. I make sure my hips are nice and high. I try to keep my back as tight and in line as I can. And from here, you kind of play around with each of the positions. Doesn't matter which order you go in, right? Or how long you spend. This is obviously a sped up version of it. But I usually like to spend at least 10 to 15 seconds in each position, and maybe like 3 to 5 seconds on the transitions. So, like I said, you can kind of play around with it however you want to do it. I usually like to do that and kind of base it off a feel, just to kind of get everything primed and moving, ready to go. So, like I said, it doesn't really matter which order you do them in, just kind of getting some spinal movement and just waking up the body especially. Or you could use it as a decompression, especially when you're short on time. That's one of my go-tos. Just kind of play around with those 3 there, just to kind of start things off. So.